A lovely cheese pizza just for me.
Cheer or fear, Belschnickel is here to judge your year. And if you're anything like the guys on this show, you probably were very impish this year, but that's okay. You can still join us and enjoy the holiday festivities here on Flyover State of Film. I'm your host tonight, Brian Hurst-Hules. Who I got joining me are a ragtag group of Christmas urchins that you might see scurrying about the streets. One, my Buckeye bastard brother, Yusef. How you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. How is Why I Love Movies doing?
As average as it could be.
Well, you did so many reviews this year, my man.
I only did 100
hammering out
so far.
And you didn't even start a Patreon. You put out all those reviews and did not ask for a single cent.
No,
I think that deserves a little bit of a little back pat. Good for you, my man. You're doing it for the love of the game.
The
for the fucking love of the game right here.
Respect the game.
Hailing to us from New Jersey, but you might find him more comfortably trolling the depths of Twitter, much like some sort of crazed hipster Quint from Jaws. Mr. Chendango one himself. Joe, What's up, my man?
I have been in the trenches again.
He's been firing some shit off the last couple of days. He's in the holidays, filled with the holiday spirit.
Work's been slow. The microaggressions have been high.
That's what you got to do. What you got to do. And then
find me on DVD.
Also, you've been doing DVD. No, that's next. That's shh. Quiet now. Oh, actually, by the time this airs, your episode will have come out. Look at that. Everybody go watch DVD Bunker. Listen to the DVD Bunker. We're a podcast, not some kind of YouTube show like some kind of goddamn amateurs. Oh, speaking of YouTube, Movie Squad, Mr. TJ Dex is with us, guys.
What's going on, guys? Merry Christmas, everybody. How's everyone doing?
Feliz Navidad.
Oh, man, let's have a little crack, a festive holiday crack, but also a sorrowful crack. We lost a great today. Let's give a big shout out to Miss Penny Marshall, actress, director, and all-around effing legend.
Amen.
Anybody who doesn't know, Penny Marshall was a TV star in the 70s. She was on a Happy Days spinoff called Laverne and Shirley, which was a great show. I watched a lot as a kid, actually. And then she went on to become a pretty decent director in her own right, killing it with a couple of what I could consider classics, and literally one that is my favorite sports movie of all time, Big and League of Their Own.
I agree.
Yeah, those two are great.
What I love about League of Their Own, I'm just going to jump in on League of Their Own because I love it too, is how serious it actually takes the sport while still being fun and funny. So
there's good baseball in that movie.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
It's like not like a lot of these sports movies where the actual sport played looks awful. Mighty Ducks, a couple other things, and then this
this is not the place, but we are not going to litigate Mighty Ducks because the first two Mighty Ducks movies very much formed my young movie watching. So
I think we gotta litigate this then.
But at the same time, Big was a huge movie for me when I was a kid. I know rewatching it now, there's some things you could pick apart, but just like the heart of that movie and Tom Hanks's break in that, Big.
What you can't pick apart in Big is that it's the first time I think I saw a bra in a movie. So
yeah. Yep.
Penny Marshall gave that to me. She gave me that moment.
What I love about Penny Marshall actually is what is kind of sad about Penny Marshall's legacy is that now there's a big push for female directors and female voices in Hollywood, and even though those movies that we're mentioning are huge and always in the zeitgeist, they never mention her name.
Never.
No.
So she gave us amazing movies, yet she's not a recognized as a recognized director as she should be. So hopefully with this, her name gets up there.
Yeah. Looking at her filmography today, there's one that I remember seeing like advertised and whatnot, but never heard anyone talk about it. It's like it's probably, I'd say, her last big directorial movie was Riding in Cars with Boys. Is that any good?
Oh, okay, I remember that. Yeah, and that it was a fairly decent movie as far as I hit a modest hit for the size of movie it was for sure.
I remember her I grew up watching Big and League of Their Own, and I love both of them. But actually, I remember her from the failed TV show. She was one of the judges on The Lot.
Kind of like
what that is
with her brother was also a judge on there.
Gary Marshall, yes,
and so was Carrie Fisher.
What?
And Brett Ratner.
Oh wait, what? No. What was the premise of the show?
Called On a Lot, and it was like 2000. I want to say
got that last one out
5. And it was like people make like YouTube films basically, and they were working to make shorts. And then if they won the whole thing, they got like $1 million.
Competitor to that Project Green, Greenlight kind of thing. Like somebody else wanted to do their own version of that.
It was Fox. It was an American Idol for filmmakers, and it was Fox's version or something of Project.
I actually kind of like that premise, though. I mean,
there were some good shorts on it. I think I remember reading. It's really buried. I remember reading. I think Fede Alvarez or someone auditioned for it and did it, and they said he was they wouldn't let him do what he wanted to do, so his shit never even made it.
Oh,
I think he's the guy.
Actually, that was going to be my question. Do you think somebody recognizable came into the show?
Oh, I'm sure.
No one on the actual show, but I think in the auditioning process when finding somebody, I think he was someone, and they were like, "You're too weird."
Or last thing credited that's coming out at some point is the Rodman documentary, which I hope they follow through and release at some point, which I really want to check that out because she was saying, it's like one of her quotes was like, "Weirdos just find me." And it's like, that's one of the things he wanted her specifically to do his documentary about.
That's awesome. I love the idea of in all the crazy shit that Dennis Rodman's ever been up to. One time he was sitting around watching The League of Their Own, and he was like, "That's who I want to make my movie. That's who's going to tell my story." That was the one. He was like, he saw Gina Davis catch that ball with one hand, and he was like, "That's who's going to fucking do me up. That's who's going to do my movie."
Now,
Kim Jong-un. We're going to get Penny Marshall over here.
Yeah, it was her or Jean-Claude Van Damme. Nobody else.
Those were your two picks. So, A League of Their Own is an amazing Gina Davis performance, but I gave you guys some homework last week to intro you to yet another amazing Gina Davis performance. One that unfortunately did not lead to a action career for her. She kind of had back-to-back bombs with this movie, the Long Kiss Goodnight, and then
Cutthroat Island.
Cutthroat Island, and they were both directed by her then husband Rennie Harlan, and it's just, I really feel like it's a shame. So I've talked enough about this movie on my show, The DVD Bunker. Ever heard of it? So why don't you guys hit me up with some thoughts?
No, I'm gonna start off right off the bat because just like you, I'm a big fan of these 90s hits that just fall through the cracks that once you go back, you're just like, how did people miss this and not explode like the other movies that were so great that year? So you tell me to do this and do research on this movie and see it again, or not see it again. It's the first time I ever saw this. This is the quintessential 90s
3
action.
virgin watches. Nobody had ever seen this before.
No.
I've seen it.
Okay,
this movie was
all right.
This movie, awesome. I was a ton of fun.
It's pretty tight. That's pretty tight.
And just Gina Davis going from Samantha to Charlie over that, that was perfect. People talk about those playing those dual roles now. Just go back and watch Gina Davis doing that, man. Watching her go from just oh, it's a PT. I'm in the PTA, and Brian Cox. I'm gonna jump right into that.
Oh man, Brian Cox is a fucking legend.
Yeah.
He's so good and he's hilarious. He's only in like you kind of don't realize he's not in this movie that much, but he makes such an impact every time he shows up. He's in like 3 scenes, and he's got some of the most memorable Shane Blackiest dialogue that you could ever be written, and he just kills it. He kills it every time he's on screen.
Well, she's why this worked. Like she stands out and it's fun. Like Sam Jackson just showed up and was Sam Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, he was doing his thing. He had actually, this is fresh off the back of being in Die Hard with a Vengeance, so he's kind of playing a very similar role. I mean, the characters aren't the same, but his role in the movie is the same, which is to be like the guy who cracks jokes and is kind of a fish out of water and points out how crazy the situation is. So he's doing like a very similar bit, just the character is a little different.
But her duality.
That being said, he's awesome in this too. I love him in this. He's got a line near the end where he's like trying to, I forget what the whole thing is, what he's trying to get to, but there's a bunch of guys running around and she's telling him not to do it. He goes, well, kill him for me, bitch. What are you good for?
Yeah.
Plays that every time I watch. I've seen this movie 1 million times and I have to like stop the movie to laugh. It's so good.
Well, he was supposed to, I was reading the trivia, he was supposed to die, and he did. And then the test audience was like, we don't like that ending, so that's why he shows back up.
Well, and if you see the way he looks at the end, he looks like a goddamn zombie. The way the blood's just like dripping out of his face and out of his mouth and shit. Like he looks
the violence and just the over the top blood in this movie is awesome.
Yeah,
like I audibly laughed though when she just picks up her kid and chucks her out that window.
That's so good when the dude blows the hole in the wall with a grenade launcher. That's like that first scene really sets the tone for the way the action is in this movie. The guy Pratt falls on some fucking M&Ms. Then he fires a missile and blows a hole in the wall. She chucks her daughter out the hole and across, like straight across into her own treehouse. Which I was like,
so ridiculous.
So, and then he proceeds to hit her with a jug of milk, and she smashes his face with a glass bottom pie pan. Where we're at, like in that first fight sequence. Good times.
Well, yeah,
now, the reason I really brought this to you guys was because, to me, this is my quintessential Christmas action movie. So how did it stack up to what everybody else to be considers, which would be Die Hard? I mean, obviously, I'm not trying to say this is a better movie than Die Hard, but Christmas-wise, it's a lot more Christmas here.
Well, ho, 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 welcome to the Christmas edition of Flyover State of Film. I absolutely think Long Kiss Goodnight is an underrated action classic, a great Christmas movie, and here we get to share with our fans and our friends one of our Christmas favorites. I know exactly what I'm going to get into when I watch this every year at Christmas. I love the Long Kiss Goodnight. It is over-the-top ridiculous. It knows it. It doesn't take itself too seriously. I think it is absolute perfect for what it is. You are looking to have a good time, especially for the people who like offbeat Christmas movies.
Are these my previous tweets about the Long Kiss Goodnight, or is this a transcription of my bunker episode? What are we
Christmas
hearing?
party. I want to say, I love the guy toast. It's one of my favorite toasts.
I do love that toast.
I don't drink. I don't swear. I don't smoke. Oh shit! I do smoke and drink.
It's a good one.
And you're gonna spoil all my downloads. I'm not gonna get any downloads now on my bunker episode because they're gonna have heard all my best bits on here.
Hashtag peel the onion.
That never caught on. Of course, I need the hashtag DVD bunker to catch on first. I think I got to start there.
God, a whole podcast is just one giant plug for the DVD bunker, which you can check me out on real soon.
Yeah,
I like how part of her assassin personality coming back is some light abuse, child abuse. She is.
Oh yeah. We're gonna talk about how she abuses her daughter.
Child starts to get on her nerves. Very annoying child actor.
Oh yeah, the child actor, and this is the worst. When she does the "don't hit the cars" thing, and Samuel Jackson gives her that look like he's gonna knock her out of the car.
I audibly laughed at one of the daughter's lines. Like it was like one of the real serious lines. She's like, "Mommy, you're not dead." I think I laughed because it was just the way she delivered it. I was like, oh.
Well, he gives that speech. She gives her that speech back to her, which I was watching it this time. And now here's something I know I didn't say on the DVD bunker because I was just thinking about it. So when the little girl falls down and she breaks her wrist, she doesn't, and Gina Davis doesn't believe her, and she like abuses her into going to skate. You got to imagine that she also probably made that girl skate the rest of the afternoon. And it's not like after she did that one thing, she was like, see, what happened is Gina Davis was then like, see, you're fine. And then they spent all day out there and her wrist was probably all red and throbbing when they peeled off the coat. It was probably all purple and shit. And I bet Gina Davis felt a lot worse. So I was just thinking about that this time.
Pre-I Tanya.
It's even more graphic child abuse than I thought originally.
I mean, this movie doesn't care about kids, and that's kind of why I liked it.
Well, it's a 90s movie. Like you were saying, well, does it stack up to Die Hard? Was a question I was thinking.
I don't think it's as tight as Die Hard, meaning like Die Hard's like such a perfect script.
Die Hard's definitely still a better movie overall. When it comes to take that away.
Action one-liners, it has its one-liners in this.
Definitely. I think America missed out on not letting Gina Davis become an action hero. Because I think she's great at it. She nails the one-liners and stuff.
I think that's where she lost the action bit. If we're gonna ask why that never happened, if in my opinion it's because she is more comedic, and you can tell that when there are action scenes, not like all the action stars do their own shit. You knew it was a double. There was no believability that you knew she was doing it. She killed her lines. She did the funny stuff. She hit her hard one-liners that an action star should hit. But unlike Arnold and a couple other ones, we know it's not her throwing the punches.
I kind of disagree with you there. I just think it was too weird for people at the time. Like it's not that straightforward. It's off. There's those weird dream sequence. It's obscure. And those don't catch on until later. Until some guy like Brian's like, yo, did you see that? You see the Long Kiss Goodnight?
But Gina Davis had some great gunfire phases.
I do like. I'm a big fan of when they're torturing her and they pull her up out of the water and she's like, she's real fucking crazy. In that one.
I mean, hell, she owned the fucking movie.
Well, my favorite part with her is when she's in the truck going through town and talking to herself, like when the brakes and she's like, not fair, not fair. She's like, get out of the way. I'm gonna hit you with this truck. Like no one can hear you in these movie scenes. And then she does the T2 where she surfs the truck when it's on its side and keeps on going down, and then hips off, does the flip, and it's like one of those things. Like it's great, but like now you're like, oh man, that's more funny than actiony, which probably at the time they wanted more action.
I mean,
what do you guys think of our buddy Craig Bierko coming back from Fear and Loathing to be the villain in this one? He's the photographer.
Yeah,
he rolls with.
I was trying to pick him
for a short while.
I was trying to pick him out. He's got to go. He's like, "Sir, I'm dying." He's like, "Well, die." Hangs up the thing.
Continue dying.
He's
definitely real slimy. Like his character is just kind of basic, but he's like he plays a lot into it. You know,
very, very different movies, or not very different. I'd say they cut from the same cloth. I think I'd rather watch Reindeer Games.
You should have picked that one.
I've always been a closet Reindeer Games fan. It came out and it was like a joke already, so like nobody ever took it seriously. I've always loved Reindeer Games.
Some goddamn hot chocolate
and some pecan motherfucking pie.
But I don't know. This was a ton of fun. I own it now.
But the
guys,
villain,
guess what? You can't rent this movie. I have to buy it from Amazon.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
It's worth it. It's not bullshit.
The villain dies a great death, where he gets blown up by his own bomb. Huge explosion, great model, practical model.
You didn't talk about how I don't like fall deaths in action movies. And he survives the fall death into the Niagara Falls and then pulls himself out and then dies a better death later. So
actually, can we
talk, DVD bunker, guys? It's really good.
Can we talk about one of my pet peeves? One of my biggest pet peeves in movies is seeing underwater, and she sees the body underwater, and she takes the gun from the body, and then goes up, and
I don't like that. You're right.
Guys, I mean, you know what? We have to give this movie though a 10 out of 10. People just work so hard on it.
That's right. You're not really allowed to criticize things.
You know, I mean, like, were there some problematic moments with children that just don't hold up to my standards, and I can't fully enjoy them?
Can you say that?
No, that's
an empty criticism.
Whoa. Hashtag subtweet. Peel the onion.
Ooh, peel the onion.
Actually, I'm gonna pull one more quote and end the bit, because I agree with you, Brian. Brian Cox jumping out the window with the fire following them is a great trailer bit. I agree. Like, I pulled it from your thing and I'm doing the joke, but I agreed 100% when you said it. I was like, I'm gonna say this sarcastically, but honestly, yeah, that's a great moment in the movie. I love it.
That movie's good. I really liked it.
Yes, it's a great Christmas action film. It would have fit nicely into our oddball category for our bracket, but I still don't think it would have made our Elite Eight. So with that segue so masterfully done, let's talk a little bit about our bracket coming up here to try to determine the best Christmas movie and what didn't make the cut and what did.
Okay, so this is a full-on bracket. I've been playing this bracket, a little background with my whole family for last about 5 years, and we pick a new winner every year. And so I decided to play with these guys. But we narrowed ours down to a crazy 8, so you guys didn't have to sit through us slogging through each verses, because this episode would be like 4 hours long. But some that didn't make it, there's 4 categories: classics, modern, and animated, and oddball.
Long Kiss Goodnight,
I'll start.
Right?
Long Kiss Goodnight would have been
replaced Trading Places in the oddball category. And I'll just say right off the bat, real quick, Trading Places is one of those movies like Stripes, where it's actually only about 2/3 good, but that's the part everybody remembers. If you actually sit down and watch it, it sucks. The last third of it sucks.
You don't like the gorilla rape scene?
I like Trading Places, but it's directionless after that.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Sucks. I want to give a big shout out. I'll stay in the oddball category, and this could easily be moved to modern. Would be The Night Before. Mm-hmm. I think that is such an underrated comedy, but not only
that's
comedy.
Like, only about 3 years old, right? So definitely modern would be a good spot for that.
I have it in oddball, but it could be modern. I mean, it is a Christmas movie, but it's a blast.
I actually have never seen it, so
it's a good one.
I really like the structure and the Jew, which is Seth Rogen embracing his friends, celebrating Christmas. But I really didn't buy their friendship, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Mackie, and him. But the thing that really sells the movie for me is Michael Shannon.
Oh yeah,
yes.
I think what. I disagree because I do buy their friendship, but I think that's what made it is they didn't get 3 comedians. It's not like here's Seth Rogen, Adam Sandler, and Paul Rudd. It's like here's 2 actors and the comedian.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like an Anthony Mackie's hysterical in the movie, but he's not a straight up comic.
And I do. When
you have a great Nathan. Was it Nathan Fielder from Nathan For You?
Yep.
Great, like just roll as their weird bus driver, as their weird limo driver in the Red Bull.
That's true. But that was the first time I was like, oh, Shannon actually can be more than just like that psychopath. Even though he's kind of psychopath, but it's like he's funny.
I want to give the next honorable mention that didn't make it. That it's going to start the many fans that watch us getting angry. Home Alone, unfortunately, did not make it. It's a great, amazing Christmas movie. It had some tight competition when it comes down to it. We all made
classics category is brutal.
We definitely were sober when we made half of these decisions. We weren't coming off of an episode tanked, so just know that. But Home Alone, for anyone that loves that movie, Macaulay Culkin, didn't make it, but I want to say great movie with also an amazing cast with Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci. I know Daniel Stern, even though last week on SmackDown I didn't get it right, but Daniel Stern is one of
you personally know him, like he comes over for dinner.
Yes. And there's how's Daniel Stern?
Does he He seems nice.
He's a good guy. Daniel Stern's a great guy.
Good.
Oh.
I heard he does a lot of art of his garage.
Daniel Stern?
Yep. So actually, I think like, and Brian is gonna jump on and tell a classic too, but I think like we could have done like a huge bracket just off classics because that was I think that was the toughest category. Brian, which one were you want to call out in the classics?
Well, like I said, I'll take Scrooge and I'll let you talk about the other one. I think Scrooged is an incredible adaptation of a story we've seen done literally so many times, and it also got bumped from the animated category, not to jump around, but Muppet Christmas Carol also did not make the cut to our Elite Eight, and that was a hard one for me as well. Those would be like my two definitive Christmas Carol adaptations, but I love Scrooge. Robert Zemeckis still out there taking chances, still doing cool stuff, still trying special effects shit. Not everything hits every time, but he's still advancing.
Oh, like that other piece of shit on this bracket?
And what was that one?
Like that other piece of shit Robert Zemeckis film on this bracket?
Polar Express?
Oh, I hate that movie.
That's again, it's not necessarily for us, but there's a whole generation that's like a classic now. Like,
you know what?
I mean,
I never saw.
I want to add to
the
I want to add to the
PS2 cutscenes, guys. PS2 cutscenes.
Hey man,
he was on the forefront. He was on the like cutting edge when he did that.
Yeah. So it was the same thing when he did the same thing in
Christmas Carol.
Tales from the Crypt episode where they put fucking the dude from Casablanca in an episode and repurposed him. You know,
anyway,
Robert Zemeckis always doing that
shit, man. Like I said, it doesn't always hit, but he's always trying something new. And
I want to jump in on the Scrooge.
Is great.
So I actually, you know why I love Scrooge is because like maybe 99% of the Scrooge adaptations take place during the Scrooge time, and I love how they put it in modern times, and not only modern times, they put it as an TV executive. Yeah. So they're even commentating on their own industry.
Of the TV special of it,
on the greediness of their own industry, and I love Bill Murray in that role. He's just hilarious, and the earnest of how greedy he is and how slowly he becomes, more of a human being. He really sells it.
A great Karen Allen role too, underrated. You know what I mean? It's people only think about Animal House and Indiana Jones, but don't sleep on Scrooge. Like, she's there.
It's also like a great.
I was gonna say The Sandlot.
Let's say it's just like the
Mrs. Dennis Lee.
You were saying. It's got a use of like past, present, and future, like in a very like fun way. It's kind of like the Muppets and stuff like that. It's not like your classic way of him just sees death in the elevator and like thinks it's one of the people from the play and like things like that. Yeah. It's like a fun use of those characters.
All the bits with his production, the production they're doing of Scrooge at his TV studio is hilarious too.
All right, episode over.
Mary Lou Retton and shit, and the whole thing was stapling the reindeer on the mice, the reindeer antlers on the mice.
We're
going to talk about Scrooge. Guys. This episode's about Scrooge now.
The other one was to keep in classics was National Lampoon's A Christmas Vacation, right?
Oh, that was hard.
There's gonna be so many people that think that should have won this whole thing.
I agree.
I think it should have won the whole thing.
And you could convince me.
Good. I'm gonna try to convince you. So the reason why I think it's like the perfect Christmas movie is because it embodies so much of what the holidays are, and the holidays are you being annoyed with your family, but at the same time loving them. You being drowning in work and life, but at the same time putting it aside because you really want to spend time with your family. Like that,
spending money you don't have on things you don't need.
Decorating your house, even though you hate the fact that you have to like store it in a box later. Like it embodies so much of what Christmas means for us in real life. And the fact that they're making fun of it, not even making fun of it, just presenting it for what it is. And you're just laughing at the fact that, shit, that's me. That I've seen this in my face. Like Chevy Chase is like the ultimate us.
Nowadays,
Christmas.
I just feel bad. I just feel bad for Julia Louis-Dreyfus and her husband mostly.
I was just gonna say them. They're like the high end. Like today would be like the hipster couple who just
yeah, right. Like
Just
I'm
doing
like
Christmas, but
I
doesn't
find
wanna be
myself
bothered.
sympathizing with them. Like they never did anything. Like
And they're-
what,
and
because,
I
they're-
don't know,
because they know
Todd.
they're better than Clark Griswold and they can't hide it that well. They have to be ostracized.
I was gonna say like the reason why what this went up against, which we'll get into later. What came down to me is like pure heart. Yes, there's heart in this, but it's more of a more materialistic heart, which is playing on.
There's a little like the cynicism balance is off.
Yeah, I'm talking about
yeah.
like what it went up against had actual like pureness to it.
I don't know. I disagree because even
I don't know. This has a lot of heart.
Yeah,
Well, too late. That fight's over, man. That
Yeah.
fight's
No.
done been had.
One point that I want to make is this movie is so fucking great that it elevated another movie that is in our Elite 8, which is Krampus, which is pretty much horror Christmas Vacation. So
Okay. Let's get to the Elite 8 then.
I was gonna say, there's nothing else.
Anyone have any other?
Anything?
is there another one that anybody wants to talk about? Well, you already mentioned Christmas Muppet, so we're good.
Yeah,
We got animated. I'd say from modern. I know there's some fans of the Jack Frost out there.
I was gonna say Jack Frost.
Listen to the How Does Get Made, actually, for that. I can't top that. Just listen to the How Does Get Made for Jack Frost. That's all you need to do. I have that plug. So let's start. In classics. Do you want to start with classics?
No, I wouldn't start there. I don't know.
Okay, fine.
Let's start with modern. Let's start with modern.
In modern, you have Elf versus Bad Santa.
Ooh.
So, I don't know. Let's just want to talk about the movies first.
Do you guys want to do like a rotation? Somebody votes first, and then we just keep rotating. That way, it's not.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. And then the fourth person only has
to. You go ahead. You start first.
What, am I voting?
No, not voting. Just give us a little, like, what are your thoughts on these two movies? And just give us a little something.
So I
podcast.
Well, I'm sorry, Brian. They're both they're both actually, I think, from the same side of the coin, like opposite sides of the coin. Elf and Bad Santa. Elf is just this like pure modern Christmas movie. That is a Christmas movie. You can't separate anything else. And I think it feels like Christmas. It's funny. It's definitely made its way into the lexicon. But then again, Bad Santa is also
Elf. That surprised me is how fast it's become basically a classic in its own right. Yeah. In like less than 15, 20 years, it's already, a favorite. It's not something that ever like hit me. It didn't hit me very hard because I was a little older, I think, when it came out. So it's like I just never. It didn't get into my rotation as much. Although I've always been a Will Ferrell fan and stuff, so there's no reason for it not to. I just wasn't in the market for like new Christmas movies at the time, I guess.
It's really soft. Bad Santa. Personally, I think that also becomes this modern classic in its own right, and it also has this Christmas feel to it. But it's a dirty fucking movie, and I know that's in the name, but it's dark, it's sad, it's more of a sadder film. It's funny, but you walk away feeling like, gosh.
But it also has that Christmas spirit and how he changed thanks to the Christmas spirit. He helps that ginger kid.
Does he though? Like, I don't know. That's the thing about Bad Santa that always got me. Is
I'm podcasting.
I don't think he's redeemed enough for the bad shit. Like, he doesn't change enough to make me not to make me forgive.
We don't need to
redeem him. Like, it's a little too mean spirited, and it's a little too like
we don't
try
need to
hard
redeem him in
its
Bad
meanness
Santa
too.
But
like, I'm kind of
having rewatched these both recently, I will say I think even Elf might have pound for pound more laughs than Bad Santa. Just different types of laughs.
I would say, the laughs that Bad Santa gets are cheap because they're like mostly uncomfortable,
I feel like
there's a lot more genuine comedy in Elf, I think.
Yeah, but I think both have that early 2000s comedy in where the first two acts are pure comedy, and then the third act is like, this is the lesson of the movie. and the comedy just goes away. So both have that in my eyes.
It's definitely unapologetic. Like,
I'm gonna also go on this one. I'm gonna go aesthetically pleasing. California Christmases, don't like them, or Arizona, wherever Southwest place at.
Christmases that don't feel cold, that shit ain't right, man.
Yeah, and look, there's only so many things Christmas lights can do to something like that.
Especially Puerto Rico. Sorry, did I make that specific enough?
Definitely,
Christmas doesn't count in Puerto Rico for sure. Like, let me just get that out of the way.
Christmas in Puerto Rico. It's
now
probably nice and warm.
I'm voting for Bad Santa.
If I can't see your breath when you're talking to a Salvation Army Santa, I don't want to watch.
Sad human being. If you think cold is good times.
I'm just saying, cold makes family come closer together, which is art and warmth.
Yeah, hotness too, because everybody wants to be under the air conditioner. Fuck you. I have arguments.
But also,
hey, Jesus was born in the desert. Fuck you. Christmas is hot.
Elf has the thing that unfortunately Bad Santa has too, or doesn't have, is if you wanted to get your family together, you can do it. There's something for the dad. There's something for the kid. There's something for the teenager. There's something for everybody in Elf. Bad Santa, it's something for like your creepy grandfather, you, and then the older teenage son.
Wait, after Grandpa has 3 or 4 beers, and you're like, "Hey, Grandpa, check this out." It's like, you know,
is Elf the last good? Is it the last good James Caan role?
I'm trying to think of the first one.
When does Way of the Gun come out?
I don't know. I'm not that into James Caan to know his.
No, everyone likes Sonny.
What was he? What's that?
The Godfather.
Never saw it. This is
I'm gonna start using my weeks and just making TJ watch classics. every time I'm the host, it'll be an excuse to force TJ to watch Godfather.
To watch actual movies.
So what was Fred Decker's role in this again? He was not a part of this.
Fred Decker was actually Santa Claus in Elf, but they had to recast him because he was too drunk on set.
And it's Ed Asner.
They got Ed
Asner's a good Santa. I'll give him
that.
Let's
also
vote,
Bob Newhart. Gotta love Bob Newhart.
Yeah, Bob Newhart steals the movie.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that's a good point. Joe, who do you vote?
I'm gonna go with Elf.
TJ.
Elf.
I'm gonna go Bad Santa then.
Oh, and I know Yusuf wants to drag this out, but I'm gonna go with Elf. Let's move on.
All right.
We talked enough.
Did we get enough out of that one? Okay, good.
Yeah, let's move on to the animated, which would be How the Grinch Stole Christmas versus A Nightmare Before Christmas.
This is the 1960s animated original Grinch, in case anybody needs clarification.
I got hot takes for days on this one, boys.
I'm excited. Let's fire it up.
I'm about to incredible this thing. Look, Nightmare Before Christmas, it's cool. It took 18 years to make. I get it. But once you get past This Is Halloween, the movie's not good. All right? Jack Skellington's an asshole. All the other characters are assholes. The only good person is Santa, which I get. That's what they want you to get across. But it's not that great of a movie, especially on rewatch nowadays. Nightmare Before Christmas, to me, is overrated, and I'm going to drop that right now. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, pure, classic, 2D animation. You can't get any purer than that when it comes to any type of
Now, the one thing I will stand up for is stop motion animation, because I think stop motion animation is fucking cool, and I know it's difficult and it's interesting. It's visually interesting. So the one thing I'll definitely 100% stand up for is the animation style of Nightmare. But I do agree that when it's like if you're taking it as how do I feel about it as a Christmas movie, it's like a one-off niche kind of fun, interesting, but does it stand up?
Is it a Halloween
Christmas movies?
No, I think it does.
Nightmare Before Christmas is a better Halloween movie.
I think it's I agree.
I don't want to slit my wrists on Christmas like some people do.
No. Wait. I'm not gonna vote yet, but I agree with one. The stop motion animation is superior to the drawing. 2, I feel like it is a Christmas movie in the sense that it's that. Again, it's fucking Bad Santa again in terms of it's a cynical, character looking for that hope and that brightness that is Christmas. And when he walks into that
But
door.
so is the Grinch. But so is the Grinch. He's cynical.
No,
but
the Grinch lives.
Yeah, but then he acts like a fucking colonizer. As soon as he sees something he likes, he's like, "This is mine now. I'm Christmas now." He's already the king of his own land, and that's not good enough for Jack Skellington. He's got to go and take the land, the native
functional crippled heart grows. That's not supposed to happen.
Puerto Rico was destroyed by what you just said. He brought it to his people. He didn't input his. Oh, fuck you.
Who directed The Nightmare Before Christmas, guys? Who directed?
Not Tim Burton.
That's Tim Burton. Thank you. Can we stop giving this guy all this credit? I mean, I know he visualized whatever he did to it.
He wrote a children's poem with some creepy drawings, and then that was his contribution.
Yeah.
No, so I like the music. I like the music. Both of them have good music.
Danny Elfman kills them.
You like Danny Elfman music? Yeah, you got some good Danny Elfman music here.
Both of them have a good, like, evil-ish character that becomes good. I don't know. This is actually a good fight.
No, we need to talk a little bit more about classic Grinch here.
All right, go Brian or TA.
Yeah, like, I just think that here's what I like about the classic Grinch. It just tells its story. It doesn't drag itself out to an hour and a half runtime to try and fill and give you filler and give you bullshit. It tells its story. It's well animated. It looks good. It's fun. It's brisk. It's like a great thing for little kids at Christmas to put down and sit with them that they can digest, but they don't get bored with. And I think that needs to be taken into account when you're thinking about what's a great Christmas movie. I think TJ nailed it when we were talking about it doesn't have to be the whole story, but you should factor in how watchable is this with my whole family? How much can everyone get out of this? If it's supposed to be the best Christmas movie of all time, it should be accessible. And I think that should be factored in just at least a little bit. But I love the Grinch. I think the Grinch is a classic. He's an ideal character for America, except we haven't done the second part yet where we learn the lesson about not being greedy. You know what I mean? Yeah. We're totally into the whole capitalism, all for yourself, take what you can get mentality of early Grinch. We just need to do the the heart grows three sizes part and be a little more empathetic. And then, America can like stop Grinching out, I guess.
He's the Grinch.
But I mean, like visually pleasing, Nightmare for what it took is incredible. But just when it comes down to those classic, even like those Rankin and Bass stop motions. It's like that. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just don't want to sit around Christmas morning and watch A Nightmare Before Christmas and then just be like, oh wow,
some people
I wish it was Halloween. You know?
Yeah.
It's such a downer. At least with the Grinch, like you said, like it's like 50 minutes into it, it's done, baby. And I feel nice. I feel warm.
Fun.
I could be like,
wait,
now we can watch.
Weren't you agreeing with
How does
me
Nightmare end? It's like Nightmare ends with Jack failing. He's like a failure, and he settles for his old job again. He's like a guy who goes back and he like goes to work at his wife's dad's factory.
Because I don't know. Him and Santa do team up and whoop some ass. Like Santa beats.
That's true. Okay, fair enough.
Santa beats Boogie or Boogeyman, whatever.
Yeah,
one of the most underrated villains.
Yeah, I mean he did.
He's a great Disney villain. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I like Boogie. That's
you keep giving me elements of the.
And I really like. I think as far as underrated henchmen go, the kids, Lock, Stock, and Barrel are.
Yeah,
I like those little kids that kidnap Santa. They're fun.
I'm telling you, and even this is Halloween. Like it beats the Who song. Whatever the Who song was.
Yeah, if you put the music, like, is there any song in Nightmare that
this is song though?
This is Hot Topic. This is Hot Topic.
But I'm saying, are any of those songs better than "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch"?
No, that song's fire. That song's fire.
Yeah, exactly, and that's an all timer.
Damn it!
You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
Oh, fucking vote. Don't be pussy.
Yeah, vote. Go for it. I'm going for the Grinch.
Nightmare.
The Grinch.
Go Grinch. You know you want to. Fuck you.
Nah, I do, but honestly, it's weird. It's like we short shrifted Nightmare a little bit. We only talked about the negatives. There is a lot of great stuff in Nightmare, and it really connected with a certain type of people who needed their own Christmas movie. You know what I mean? And it really like serves a need in that spot. So I think we're gonna have to call in our tiebreaker because I think I'm voting Nightmare.
Oh, bring in the closer.
We need the tiebreaker. Hold on.
Bring in the closer.
We need the closer to come in. She's coming in. Break the tie. Hold on. I gotta. Okay.
Introduction.
So our tiebreaker is my fiance, Laura.
Hi guys.
Hey.
Oh, now see, she exists. Damn it! I lost the bet there.
I think it was a catfish thing, but she's.
I was 100% on that catfish.
Give me my money,
This is
guys.
very elaborate, but I think she still got you on the hook.
This is like a CGI thing. He's a Photoshop genius.
So Laura, we are at wit's end of between How the Grinch Stole Christmas and A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, gonna have to go with a Grinch for sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who invited this person?
I was gonna say, I need a second opinion. Actually,
Wow.
Wait, actually, I thought she was gonna listen to the arguments and then vote.
Oh, I could do that. I could.
But you already voted.
Yeah.
You showed your cards.
It would have to be a really, really convincing argument for me to pick Nightmare Before Christmas because it's just like a hot topic movie that I can't.
Right, I was gonna say all we're gonna do is she's just gonna bring in a whole new set of arguments. We're gonna have to relitigate the whole thing. I like that she went with her gut. That's her instinct.
Yeah.
Here,
If this still beats a damn
Here's
coin
your
flip,
prize.
God, come on, give me a break.
Take
At least
the
a
Grinch
human
with
made
you.
a decision.
Well, now
Hey.
that she's here, what you want to hang?
She doesn't. She's like, no, get me out of here. I got shit to do.
Got to call her back in.
Call me
Probably
back
next
in if I'm needed.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Hey,
Christmas.
thanks for your help, Laura. Thank you.
Thanks for nothing.
All right, let me get my headphones back on.
No, we gotta wait for you.
Wait, are we gonna do arguments next time, or is it gonna be gut?
This is gonna get a
now
little tight for me.
Well, she's a tiebreaker.
We can do it.
I agree either way. I'm just establishing rules.
Nah, you're good.
We should all give her a statement next time, just like a quick
Right,
statement.
we'll have to condense it. We have to kind of condense
Yeah,
it.
that's what I thought we were gonna do. But yeah, go ahead. Next argument.
What are we doing now? Are we up to classics yet?
No, we're up to the very next one. I don't know what it is though. Oddballs. I think.
Sorry. It is Krampus versus Gremlins in the oddball category.
I just rewatched both these movies literally within the last 2 days.
Yep,
So
agreed.
I'm
I
ready
think this
to
is
go
the
on
hardest
this
one.
one.
I have another hot take.
As far as I'm concerned, these are two movies that perfectly serve the same function. Like,
Yeah, sure.
you could put on either one of these and get a very cool and dark but still kind of very Christmassy vibe. And like, so, I'm going to throw it to you guys and stew on it while you talk.
I got a hot take. I got a hot take coming off.
Take it off the stove, baby. Take it off
Yeah.
the stove.
This Krampus has a much better performance from Toni Collette than Hereditary does.
What?
It's
Oh,
a little on the edge.
You just-
I
you
will.
just
I'm gonna
fell
jump.
off-
I'll jump
no,
in
no,
here
no.
and defend TJ because I agree. I think this everybody's
you.
raving
He
about
just
Toni
fell
Collette.
off the
I think
hot
she's a
take
little
you
too.
and
She takes it a
broke
little too
his
far.
God,
A couple
are
times.
you? Is your wait? Hold on.
Oh
Am
my
I looking
God.
at Billy Business?
Are you gonna be in
Was
Billy
hot
Business podcast? Fuck you.
Because man, you should leave this podcast and start your own.
Look,
Wow, that
I'm
is.
telling you,
Our-
look, Hereditary is good. She's fine.
We call them
Whoever
ginger
does-
takes. They're so hot they're red.
Guys,
God.
guys, let me just look at film Twitter. Right? Oh, yep, you broke it.
All right, Krampus won. Next topic.
Her
Fuck
as
you.
a mother in Krampus is way more believable than her as a mother in Hereditary.
No.
I think she was more subtle, actually.
She tried
Oh my
really
God.
hard. in
Well, in
Hereditary.
Krampus, she's just playing a more subdued role.
No.
But she does have some great scenes when she goes off on the fat ants.
Time out.
I'm a big fan. That's a great moment.
Fucking movie.
Wait, we're arguing Hereditary versus Krampus. Let's go Krampus versus Gremlins.
When we do our
We have to give
Collette
the Oscar out tonight.
we do our Tony Collette bracket. We'll get
This
there.
could be like 5 hours.
No. I got it. Her and Fright Night better than both of these.
No.
Shaft over the Sixth Sense. There, I said it.
All right, Tony Collette bracket coming soon.
All right, so look, Krampus and Gremlins, like you said, has the same thing. But Gremlins, again, has more of the family feel, which I get Krampus is more based around a family, but spoilers, the end has not.
I love the ending.
Yeah, it's a great ending, but it's like the opposite of
I
the
would
black
say
ending.
I would say that Krampus feels like the family in Krampus feels more connected to each other than anybody does in Gremlins. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like a big like tight family connection between
Dad's
Billy
missing
and his mom and his dad. I feel that in
But guys,
Krampus.
But you know why?
Krampus,
You know why that's the issue with Gremlins? It's like that 80s trope in where the parents are not really involved with their kids.
Yeah.
So the movie centers around the kid more, and they're like everything is like going to shit, and the kid has to be the one that saves the day, even though the mom gets involved and she like does the trash compactor thing.
Gremlins' mom is a fucking action hero, guys.
Yes, I agree.
She's a badass.
Also,
Gremlins' mom above Tony Collette.
but also Billy's best.
Gremlins' mom never would have cut
I'll
her
say
own
this:
head
in,
off.
in Krampus, it's also the most visually, best visual looking movie we have on this whole bracket.
Not
I don't
only
know, but
the
how you
visual,
what are you gonna
the
do?
sound
Amazing
design.
practical effects versus amazing practical effects.
Yeah.
Gremlins
No, I
has
don't
some
just mean the practical effects. I just mean like the way it's shot, like
No,
the
both
silhouettes
of
of
them.
Krampus.
I agree. Both of them have great practical effects, but the Krampus has an edge on sound design. The way that the wind sounds, the bells, how
It's
the
a character,
creature
and I don't mean that corny wise.
On the
It's
rooftop?
a character
Yeah.
in the movie.
on the rooftop, the way that the elves
Silhouettes.
sound, like it's
Okay.
just an amazing
And to
sounding movie.
And to
Krampus
counteract
doesn't
that,
have a moment like Phoebe Cates' speech or in where she talks about her dead dad. There's no moment like that in Krampus. Even Grandma's speech, even Grandma's story does not hit as hard as Phoebe Cates'
Wait,
story.
because in Gremlins it comes out of nowhere.
I like that about it, though. That's why I like that.
Just having a good time in the Steven Spielberg movie, then it's like, boom, my dad died dressing up as Santa and he broke his leg.
The ant has a great speech. The ant has a great speech before she's taken into the snow, and where she's like, you're the best of us, and she's talking to Toni Collette. That's a great speech.
Oh, she's really good. She was the lead in Fargo. I just forget her name.
Yeah, season 1 of Fargo. Alison Tolman, she's excellent. She's
I buried the lead with the
Krampus does get a bump.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Krampus gets a bump for having David Koechner in it too, who I fucking love.
And
He's
also
so goddamn funny. So like, I mean, if you're like comparing casts, you probably have to give the edge to Krampus.
Yeah,
Adam Scott, Toni Collette.
Yeah.
Billy's best friend in Gremlins. Is drunk
how do we
neighbor.
feel about?
I was saying.
Yeah,
the drunk neighbor.
His best friend's a 10-year-old.
So you get Corey Feldman points.
That's about it.
I
He
don't
doesn't
know.
dance, so
Krampus
you
was
gotta take
such a
away a Corey
delight.
Feldman point.
And I do love that ending of Krampus because it's the movie. You're going to see Krampus. You're going to see this horror movie. It's not supposed to be like, hey, we had Elf and we introduced Krampus and it's going to to work out for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. And the creature designs, like Gremlins has great creature designs, but Krampus has so much different
I'll give
creature
it to
designs.
Gremlins.
A lot of variety too.
Yeah.
I like the variety of creature design.
The Jack in the Box thing that fucking sucks.
Oh, it's so creepy.
Here's a question. Jack in the Box and the toy creatures, or Spike in the Tree. I'm trying to think of like horror visuals.
I think Gremlins, the characters themselves are better.
The gingerbread man.
Than Krampus itself. But Krampus is more fun, if that makes sense.
But I'm just saying, even the look of Krampus when you finally get Krampus is great because you get this amazing
Now, how do you guys feel about they never fully reveal Krampus? He never
you
never see him
No,
without
you
the
just get the
mask.
hood. And that's like
That's what all the
No.
knockoffs did.
Wait. Krampus
Right.
jumping on the houses.
That's the
Oh
one
my
point where I
God.
thought the CGI is a little dodgy, though. So that's
No.
almost.
Wait. Brian, who tweeted out recently, "Hey, don't judge any
Fuck
movie
you,
based
Brian.
off its CGI."
Hey, Krampus is a newer movie. I'm allowed to call it this dodgy
Hashtag
CGI
peel the onion,
newer
man.
movie.
Wow,
That shit
man!
came out in the last 3
man!
years.
You know
Peel
how
that
hard they
onion.
worked on that CGI for
You know what scene that always
I
got
didn't say
me,
it
though?
didn't look good. It's just a little dodgy.
I'll tell you what.
I don't know.
I'll give Gremlins a little dodginess here, but I do love this scene because I think it was either claymation, stop motion, or something. But when Spike jumps in the YMCA pool, comes out, and he has the army, and does the thing where he walks up the street, calls them all in, and you finally have like the army of Gremlins. It's a little shoddy now, but like you just kind of respect what it was at the time. It's like one of those
I
things.
like Gremlins 2 better.
What?
I like
Gremlins 2 is
better.
more. Gremlins 2 is like just a fun, crazy time.
They own themselves.
It's not a better movie, but
I like
it's
it better.
Yeah,
Anyway,
okay, that's fair.
I'm
that's
calling
fair.
for a vote. For a vote.
Hold on, wait. Okay, before you call for a vote, everybody, just think of like your favorite thing from either movie. Just pick one and say it. And I'm gonna say when the mean old Mrs. Gulch lady gets fired with her chair out of her house and into the tree. It reminds me of a thing we didn't talk about in Long Kiss Goodnight when there's a big explosion and Samuel L. Jackson gets blown out of a hotel window and through a sign. He gets blown through the hotel sign.
Oh wait,
Awesome.
He Samuel Jackson.
No, that bit is over now.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and mention. Try to sway us. Pick
the when the ginger kid tries to eat the gingerbread man, and he goes up the chimney. That pure terror and tension of the family just pulling on him, and the kid just going
the one shoe.
I honestly like. Fuck it. I'm voting Krampus.
For me, it's Krampus. You already said it. It's that scene of actually him on the roof jumping in the snow and that wind and it's howling, and you feel like you're in the snow. Like I saw that in the theaters, and it felt like I was in snow. Like it felt cold in the movie. I'm going Krampus.
I want one.
I want Krampus to take it all.
Oh man!
Go ahead, TJ. You vote.
Right.
Do
This
it.
is tough. This is hard. All right. One of my favorite scenes ever is the scene in the bar where all the gremlins are going off. You get the gremlin showing his
that shit too. They're
things,
partying their asses off.
But again, like, yes, it kind of at some point takes Christmas and makes even the Phoebe Cates thing. Even the director was just like, think of something. She might even just stood off. I'm going Krampus. I love Gremlins.
Well,
I love
Gremlins. My vote doesn't matter. I just don't want it to get a shutout. So. Yeah. Sorry, Gremlins, but Krampus moves.
By the way, guys, just so you know who are listening, only watch this Krampus movie. Don't watch the DVD knockoffs that have come out because they're majority trash. I have not seen one.
There's one that's like some kind of Christmas stories or something. It's like it's like an anthology. It's all right. It wasn't
Christmas
terrible.
Horror Story.
Yeah, that's the one.
Pretty good.
That movie's crazy.
Okay, I've only seen the shitty like other ones. Like
there are. Joe is right. Joe is also right. There's like a dozen shitty Krampus movies, and you should avoid all of them.
Yeah,
but the next one that TJ just held up is okay. It's pretty good.
It's fine.
It's still in the wrapper though, TJ. So
I haven't watched it.
Called you out. Shit.
Damn.
You got faced.
Damn it.
That fucking feel, man. Damn.
And
catch it on the DVD wrapped.
All right, so let's get into our last battle of our Elite Eight. We're finally talking our Classics division, which was definitely the hardest, which saw the most hard defeats. But our final two members who come into that, one is the Santa Claus, Tim Allen Classic, the Santa Claus, and the other is, of course, you knew it. You would be here. You can't escape it. A Christmas Story.
I'm ordering A Christmas Story.
Hey, you got to put a little pretense on it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I think the Santa Claus is good and it's fun and it's its way into being a classic. but man, is that a fucked up lore. Like,
Right.
y'all gotta
And
kill
when you
Santa,
watch it
abandon
now,
your life.
Overall, it's a little mean spirited.
He's a jerk off in that movie too.
Right?
Hey, let's not beat around the bush for now, okay? You have a movie based around kids, and you have a movie based around a guy with the most annoying kid in the world. The Santa Claus has the most annoying kid ever.
You mean
yeah,
Actually,
he's pretty bad. He's not as bad as the kid. The worst child actor of all time is not the girl from Long Kiss Goodnight. Put your paper down. It's the kid from The Mummy Returns who plays Brendan Fraser's son. He's the all-time worst. He's awful.
Okay, yeah.
that's my dad? I don't know. Jake Lloyd in
I was gonna say Jake
Jingle
Lloyd.
All the Way is pretty shitty. But guys,
Well, we didn't
we'll
even
save
talk about
that.
Jingle All the Way.
We'll
Also
save
burned off
that
in this
for-
No, but
Or
we have
drink
the
along.
commentary coming soon.
Yes, we'll have a drink along commentary soon to Jingle All the Way. But before you forget, that's my dad. The kid from Santa Claus Charlie is
I mean,
kind of the fucking worst.
He's
all
pretty
right.
bad.
I voted already, but let me at least talk about the Santa Claus because I recently rewatched the trilogy with my wife, and I like the practical effects of him getting fat, the beard going back, the jokes of
It's a fun movie.
like people like telling him like you should take a couple of days, and everybody just ignoring the fact that he's like legit becoming Santa Claus. Which is pretty funny. It's pretty funny, and I like the touch that he knows like their secret desires from years ago. Like there's a couple of things that I really enjoy about it, but
I like the Santa world. Like I like the North Pole in Santa Claus.
I like the matte paintings.
Young but are super old.
But I have problems. And this is like probably some me thing. Why did they make the head elf Jewish?
Bernard.
Because that guy's a great actor. That's why.
But why play him Jewish? Like it's just weird.
This was a Jewish actor. That's kind of wow. You're supposed to be the diverse one of the group.
Yeah, man. I mean, maybe they just picked the best actor they could find, man.
No,
I guess
first of all, I'm gonna stand up.
You're saying
I guess I waited. I waited for the last episode of
Jew?
2018 to get kicked out of the episode.
Shout out to David Krumholtz. I love your turn as Bernard. That's one of my favorite roles in the movie. I hope you and Judy were very happy together.
They're together?
Creepy.
I don't know. Maybe.
That's the creepy part. Is like every elf there is supposed to be like 500, and they're like, "Hey, Charlie, come help." It's like, no, he's a boy.
Is that the creepy part, or is the fact that your dad turns into Santa Claus, slowly loses his memory, and then realizes people's forever wants and wishes that they want on Christmas? Like, you get a dual personality.
Sounding
Also,
like I voted
movie,
correctly.
I don't know if you guys ever noticed this movie totally just follows the Hook formula. He's a kind of a crappy dad who's like a little bit neglectful.
but
and then he realizes, and then he finds the magic within himself. First, he doesn't believe it, and he doesn't think he can do it, and then he does. And it's Hook.
Bad words on Hook, you bastard.
This is why it pays
Hook.
to have
That's
a
not a negative.
75-year-old man on the
Hook.
podcast.
But I'm just saying, like, if you've never noticed, it's just a Hook knockoff.
Now let's talk about Christmas Story. Which
my favorite.
Wait. Actually,
so
question.
Favorite part of a Santa Claus.
Question. Joe, question for you.
Yeah. Okay.
What did Santa Claus beat? Because we're shitting on this movie 100% right now.
It beat Home Alone.
Home Alone, which I don't know how we were drunk.
I voted Home Alone.
I think that one went to a coin flip. I think that one went to a coin flip.
It was a coin flip because Laura was sleeping.
Right,
No,
I
will say this about Santa Claus. The funniest fucking part is at the end when Neil, who steals the movie, Judge Reinhold, with his sweaters, is like, "You'd make a great psychiatrist, Charlie." And Charlie goes, "I want to get into the family business. So you want to
that
kill
means he's
your
gonna
father?"
kill his dad.
Because you definitely don't just.
Look, I get like they're probably thinking like, "Oh, this is a really cute scene," but like, if you realize just the movie you put together.
But here's a real question.
Have you guys ever seen Father's Day cards that have Batman on them? I'm like, I don't want to. I better never get a Father's Day card that's got Batman on it, man. That's fucked up.
Here's the real question, though: what happens when does Santa die from old age, or like?
I think he's just a magical old elf. I think it's a Highlander situation.
So he has to get murdered every time.
Yeah, he has to trap a wife.
All right, let's vote and save a Christmas Story breakdown for the next
All
We're
right,
not
I'm
even going to
going
talk about it
Christmas
now.
Story.
We just already know. We're just going to move it
No,
on.
fuck you. A Christmas Story.
I can't
All
believe
right,
Home
Christmas
Alone
Story
didn't
it
win
is. You're
that.
right.
Or
After
only
tearing that
matter.
apart, I can't believe Home Alone.
There
didn't
were,
win.
I
Okay.
have 3 favorite movies in this bracket, and Christmas Story is the only one that made it to the Elite Eight, so that better move on.
Oh, poor you. Oh, all right. Next up, we got Elf versus How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
You know, I'm gonna jump right in.
Yep.
I love that the Elf took the elements of the old Christmas movies. Like it has that at least in the beginning, it has that
Rankin and Bass stuff.
Yes, I actually love that they paid a tribute to the things that they're building on, and I also love the fact that this is probably, like we said, is the last Christmas classic in terms of it's the last time Hollywood actually attempted to create their own new Christmas story instead of like
Not so much
rehashing
attempted, but
Grinch.
succeeded. The first time.
I
they-
agree.
I feel like
That's the word.
I feel like recently we're mostly just getting like people like, oh, it's just slightly better version of a Hallmark movie.
No, fuck you. That's
No,
that's
not
a
Elf. I'm
weak
saying
take.
like recent.
No, I know.
No,
I'm saying
recently.
fuck you to the person that said that.
Oh,
Not
but
you.
like
I like
think
you.
I like the. I like
you
like
fuck
something
you
like the-
slightly less.
I like something like the Christmas Chronicles, right? But that was just a Hallmark movie with better production design and Kurt Russell, right?
Yeah.
It was fun, but it's no Elf.
But also think about it. 15 years, 2003. Like Elf, it's been around, man. As much as
15
you say it
years?
just came out. 15
I'd say 15 years, but it's those like pretty quick to break into the kind of all-time Christmas movie rotation. A lot of people consider Elf to be pretty high on their Christmas movie list, and in only 15 years compared to something like The Grinch that came out in the 60s, you know, to have nearly the same amount of play.
But you get what content out of Elf though. Christmas is Grinch is like 40 minutes, is it? And Elf is like an hour and a half.
Well, and here's what I was thinking about Grinch, and this is the thing that I think is going to hurt it in this, and I know it's in this bracket, this is where it landed, but like if you were to say put it up against, if it had been in classics, if Grinch had started in classics instead of starting in animated, it wouldn't even be here right now.
Nope.
No,
it never would have made it this far. So like that kind of hurts it a little bit when I look at the competition it faced compared to the competition that's out there on the other sides. I don't think it should have beaten Muppet Christmas Carol, so I don't know where to land on that. But I'm also not as high on Elf as everybody else because, like I said, I didn't come up with it the way you younger cats did.
That's a good point.
Yeah. What does your kid think of Elf?
My kid, I don't think has ever seen Elf.
Oh, you're
What?
lucky at the moment because every parent I know hates Elf because their kid wants to watch it over and over again.
No,
I can identify with that. I was 15 when it came out, and that was back when DVD and home releases like were a big thing, and they literally held it for the entire year until it was Christmas again.
The next Christmas, yeah.
So
that.
I remember like
also it can't
it
be undersold. This is really Will Ferrell's big breakout into mainstream success. He'd been in a lot of SNL movies and stuff, but like
on that.
Old School had just come out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I tend to hate on a certain group of actors, from the Johnny Depps to the Tom Hardys to Will Ferrell. This movie, like I love Night at the Roxbury, but then other things I didn't really like him in, and like then he got that real big push.
I'm a guilty pleasure superstar over here.
Superstar, yeah, but it's like one of those small like roles where it's not based on him. Same thing with Old School, real small role, not based on him. Then he had that
he just gets to be a joke machine in movies like that.
Elf made me actually love the fucking guy again and just like kind of embrace what he was, because you could tell that he owned the role. He knew what he was doing. He wasn't making fun of it. He actually like felt for it because it has a heartfelt side to it. That was supposed
to be a Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah, and that's insane.
It would not have worked.
It wouldn't have worked. It would not have worked because also when Jim Carrey I think was attached, it was supposed to come out like in the Jim Carrey heyday, like after Ace Ventura 2. It's dope that it went on the shelf for a little bit, and then Will Ferrell, who
Jon Favreau also directs this movie really well.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I feel like we're talking a little too much about Elf. We really need to give the Grinch some play. I know I slammed it a little bit, but I didn't mean to Grinch. Kill it. Like
Grinch is a good animated movie. Sometimes its low runtime hurts itself. I think in what it limits us in what we can talk about.
I mean, like I said, I think that has it's positive and it's negative. It can help. Yeah. Like I said, it makes it more accessible. That's why kids love the Grinch so much, because they can get into it so young.
It's also
plus Dr. Seuss. It's maybe arguably the best thing Dr. Seuss ever did. So I mean, definitely the most resonant, definitely had the most impact. And the Grinch, the Grinch is a legit Christmas icon. Whereas I don't think you can say that about maybe anybody else on this list whose name ain't Santa Claus. He's the only person on this whole bracket who can like stand up and say their iconic status is damn near where Santa's is.
Slow down there. Turbo Man is pretty
Grinch has overtaken. I would say the word Grinch has overtaken the word Scrooge as somebody who doesn't like Christmas.
I get on board with that.
Yeah. And even
I think that iconicness of it can't be dismissed, you know?
No, and then also the same thing, like the voiceover. Yeah, I think Elf took, and a lot of the Christmas movies since Grinch took a lot of what it put out there. The voiceover with like that classic, the Bank and Harass voice when he's going through the thing. And again, no songs in the Elf. There's no Christmas songs in Elf. Grinch has one of the top 3
as an all-timer.
Yeah. So when you put that in the thing, like still with the animation, I love that 2D animation. It's no different than turning a book and reading a book when you watch The Grinch. Like
what is the most memorable movie of them all?
Between Elf and Grinch, I don't know. I mean, Elf's probably pretty memeable too.
I would say Elf because although I do use that Grinch gif of him smiling.
Yeah, but how many the smirk? Yeah, that's.
But how many of these new hipster kids who do memes are Jim Carrey's fights an old Grinch? You know what I mean? They're gonna.
Who do you want to fuck? I'm sorry, I'm just.
Grinch, soft.
I want
to. The Grinch is so fluffy. I'm like Christine Baranski. I want to get on that.
Okay, so
let's vote.
Let's call a vote. We got some more movies to go through. So
I'll go first because I haven't gone first, and I should stop waiting around till the end and stake my, make a decision and not pussyfoot around about it. Damn it.
Brian, what do you pick?
I'm going to go with the Grinch.
Okay.
I'm going the Grinch.
I'm going to go Elf.
Bring in the closer.
We got to call her in.
I love classic Christmas.
We got, and she's back. We got Grinch v. Elf.
Now this time, are we gonna let her hear a little bit of an argument first? We talked about it. Are we gonna let her get a little? We're gonna do like a primer.
Yeah,
Brian, Brian, you take the Grinch for us. All right.
All right. The points that were made about the Grinch, classic. Obviously, super accessible to younger kids. They can get into it young because it's short and it's got a good message that they can understand. The Grinch is as the most iconic character about Christmas, second to Santa Claus. The word Grinch has overtaken the word Scrooge as somebody who doesn't like Santa. He's permeated the lexicon. I think that's pretty much that hits the high points, right?
Okay.
Anything else, TJ? Did you get it all?
The music, the song.
Oh yeah. Classic song, an all-timer, at least one.
That's all I got.
Okay, so Yusuf, you lead with Elf.
Oh, me?
I'm going to try to say none.
Elf made Will Ferrell star. Arguably the last classic that ever made from Hollywood in terms of Christmas. Like, after Elf, you can't argue of any other Christmas movie that's in the zeitgeist as much as Elf. It builds on the classics of that came before in terms of like the way that they used the animations of the whales, like it was Rudolph and Frosty the Snowman. Will Ferrell's performance, just pure joy and genuine. You really feel that Christmas spirit, and it's also based in New York. And I don't know why New York is such a central hub for that Christmas spirit.
It's because that damn Rockefeller tree. That's why.
Yeah.
Nothing about that area is Christmas spirit. It's just people like elbowing each other out.
Yeah, it's
and the urine smell. It's very Christmas.
But it does feel like Christmas. There's a movie quality to New York around Christmas time.
So that's
sometimes I just get lost thinking about it.
That's true, and it also has that classic Grinch turnaround in terms of you can argue that Grinch has that Grinchy quality in terms of like not believing in Christmas, but James Caan also doesn't believe in Christmas, and through the power of Will Ferrell's love and joy, he also believes in Christmas. So if you want to have that message that the Grinch has,
Elf knocks that off very well and tries to hijack that message and do it slightly less good. Yeah, I agree.
With more
stuff. Get some great Peter Dinklage.
That's true.
In Elf.
And Zoe Deschanel, if you're into that.
But no Warwick Davis, boo.
All right, well,
okay.
Other little people have to work too, Brian.
All right, let the CGI girlfriend, fiance say something.
I'm just always buffering in this. The point about the Grinch being like the second biggest Christmas person after Santa Claus is very good. And then also, Yusuf, your argument that basically the elf just takes the same lesson that the Grinch and just repackages it was a little weak. So based on this, also bringing to a little bit of my own enjoyment of these movies, I am going to say that the Grinch is the winner.
Ooh.
Hey, Grinch advances to the final.
To the finals.
Can we not bring her again?
Wait.
I think the Grinch ran away.
Well,
I've been playing with him.
He's off stealing Christmas, I guess.
All right, so the next one is...
He moved on the desk.
Hey, don't rush us, Yusef. We know what the next one is, and it's scary. I don't even want to talk about it. It's like hurting me to think about it.
I was just banting while Laura walked away. Like
production value.
Well, let me start off on this one because I have to get like my Christmas
I'm
story
gonna
thing off.
Let's say the matchup and then say your thing. Okay,
the matchup is A Christmas Story from the Classics division versus Krampus from the Oddballs division. So the thing with this is like literally I feel like I grew up with this movie more even than most people. Lived about 40 minutes from Kent or from Cleveland. I lived in Kent, and like my dad was aware of this movie being filmed in Cleveland and stuff, so like he knew about it. So by the time it was on video, I had already seen it. And then we got the video. We used to rent the video before you could buy them. This is back before you could buy VHS for your home, or if you did, it was like $90. But I literally would have my dad rent this like multiple times a year, Christmas or not. And so I always felt this was my own personal Christmas movie for the longest time. Around the time when I was like in high school and stuff is when it really started to pick up steam, and they would do the all-day marathons and all that. And you guys were, would have been, young, and so it seems like it's been like that forever. But for a guy like me who thought he had this like secret little private thing, and then to see it blow up so huge was exciting. And then I've gone on and like I've had to like ride that roller coaster of like people then now thinking it's overrated, and like I have to feel like is it, and like reconcile my own things with it. So I just want to say I have a very deep history with this movie. It's been with me a long time. I just had to get that off my chest before I hear people try to tear it down.
I mean, I'm not gonna try to tear it down because I remember as a kid, I wasn't as old as you in terms of years that I grew up with that movie also. You may have a deeper connection to it, but it was that movie. It was that movie.
Because I know everybody has. I'm not trying to like fandom and like
gatekeep
no. I'm not saying. I just want to make sure people know that like literally it came out in '83. I probably saw it as soon as I was too young to go to the theater, but probably the minute it came to video.
No, I agree that
with the Christmas Story.
Yeah, like you seen it like 10 years before.
I grew up watching it too, because that whole marathon of that movie didn't come about until maybe a decade ago. it would just be on around Christmas time. That's relatively new.
I want to say, like it had to be around the turn of the millennium
started
when
about
they started
1998.
doing the 24-hour marathon and stuff. Yeah.
98.
Yeah, I remember just like
I love it.
I remember just watching it on TV. Like I don't think I've ever actually seen it other than the TV version and where it has commercials and just like the kid like
It's
being
perfectly
pushed.
set up to be on TV
Well,
because the
guys.
way it's cut into little vignettes, there's like perfect little areas.
Yeah,
to
that's what I
slap
wanted to
in
say.
commercials.
Redemption.
It's like that's why it runs so good in a 24-hour cycle because everything plays out in these little like sectioned off parts.
Yeah, it's the Shawshank Redemption of Christmas movies.
That's a quote.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair.
So,
Put that on a poster.
No, I mean, when it comes to this movie, same thing with Brian. It's one of the first ones I ever saw. It's one that now this comes down between two families. What it comes down to, Krampus and Christmas Story. So do you have the family that's your quintessential working hard dad, mom stay at home, runs the family, takes care of the kids, dad handles the punishment, or you got the family that's modern, broken, kids on the phone, daughter's doing her thing, sneaking out with the boyfriend, mom's disconnected, dad definitely disconnected. Like, where are you at in those type of terms? Like, you want happy or do you want sad? So you're at two different spectrums right now.
I mean, both are kind of sad. I don't think A Christmas Story is that super happy. Both of them have, sure, Krampus has the sadder ending if you want to look at it that way, even though in the minds of the family, they have a happy ending in terms that they're alive and they're together.
I don't know if it's more sad, just ironic. Christmas Story, just what everyone said was going to happen. Hey, it happened. So you're just like, oh, and then they get the duck at the very end, which is a super happy comedic scene.
Yeah.
With one of the best quoted, just like, fa-ra-ra-ra, like that type of thing.
One of the best racist scenes I've ever seen.
I didn't want to say it, but you did. But yeah.
But Christmas Story is
at least
good...
the diversity kid didn't call it. Go ahead, Jim.
Christmas Story is a really good day in the life of movie. Like, it's a very organic story that unfolds. Like, compared to like Krampus, where I love Krampus, but
it's a night.
It's a night. You sit in the house. It's a haunted house movie at the end of the day.
You're in Christmas Story. You're all the events.
Christmas Story. I mean, it's an encompassing of a life. Personally, I have just so much more fun these days watching Krampus, and maybe that is because it's just a little newer.
It's so fresh too. It's only a couple years old.
And A Christmas Story, like, it really, to me, I'm sorry, I'm having a cough. It really only could be watched like at Christmas. And actually, you need to watch Christmas Story around Christmas, at Christmas. Krampus, I've viewed that in the summer. Like, it to me, it's a very more accessible.
But in a bracket to determine the ultimate Christmas movie, I think a movie that defines Christmas that is set to be only at Christmas.
It's
and
not
to speak to TJ's point just a little bit, I do agree that I like the there's some good characterization of a modern family and their struggles in Krampus, but I feel like that is just to set archetypes for the characters. And then we really descend into like a bottle movie and it really gets into the horror thing. Whereas I feel like A Christmas Story has those kind of like family struggle undertones, but really actually fleshes them out and deals with them. You learn things about Ralphie's relationship with his mother and with his father. The scene where Ralphie's dad knows, like, everybody else has been ignoring this thing about the BB gun, and all the presents are opened and everything's done, and his dad is the one who's, oh wait, I think I see that. And again, not to get too sentimental, but my dad did this for me. My dad literally bought me the BB gun, hid the present behind the something where I didn't find it. I opened all my presents, and then last thing I found the BB gun. That's how connected I was to this moment. But the way that like feels, and also like not just the parents, but his interactions at school and his friends, and learning about like kind of learning a little bit of cynicism about capitalism, and about the holiday, and like Ralphie really grows, and like there's just a lot of really
Brian
Americana in this movie.
Do not be your end on Christmas Story yet. All right, because I'm right there with you. Don't be your end yet. All right.
Okay. All right.
Bust your nut. Yeah. Okay.
I kind of wish. You know what? I kind of wish at this point that Elf made it to the finals. Because fuck, do I agree with everything you said? Because I love that movie because that scene I actually escaped my mind, and as soon as you said it, that scene when I saw it the first time, it evoked so much emotion in me in terms of like as a kid and the meaning of Christmas because my parents loved.
His dad knows, like his dad's been paying attention this whole time, and it's such a special little moment. Like,
you know what's also
my parents in the hotness of Puerto Rico Christmas,
the hot Christmas,
they love to like not hide presents, but it was like always like a note. And you were like, oh, your Christmas, your presents are over here, and you had to like walk to your presents, and they were not always in the same spot, and that fact that he hid that present always evokes that emotion in me. And my aunt loves to play like riddles, like you have to like solve a riddle and before she gives you the present. So that really, when I saw that scene, and every time I see that scene again, also. I really connect to that movie. So yes, I'm a Christmas Story.
I also the Christmas Story love the moment of the bad gift giving too. Really is true. Like the your aunt got it for you, so you put it on, but you really don't want to, and it's never like maybe that comedic and embarrassing, but everyone's had that fucking moment.
Oh yeah. All right, vote it up.
Yeah, Christmas Story is the move here. I mean, Krampus is fun, but it's Christmas Story is in another tier.
And Krampus should not, like, making it to the final four when you're a Christmas movie that's only been out, like, a couple years, and you're an outlier, you're a weirdo monster movie.
Oh, it was
making it to the final four, there's no disrespect there. That's a good
we should start to say Krampus was the 8th seed, meaning it beat Die Hard.
Bottom of its division, yeah.
Fuck Die Hard.
But Krampus made it.
I don't think we need to go so far as fuck Die Hard.
Fuck Die Hard.
Okay, Bruce Willis.
In the terms of this bracket.
All right, so I'm going A Christmas Story also. That is a bona fide classic, and you guys have sold me more on.
Yeah, it's hard. Unfortunately for Krampus,
I haven't even said my best argument yet.
I mean, go ahead.
Save it because it's got to go up and still got one more round.
Finals.
Yeah, we got what?
2018 finals, baby.
We got the finals.
This is it. Everybody take a swig of your drink. We're getting ready to do the finals here.
We got Grinch in one corner. We got Grinch.
Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Got to be specific because there's so many Grinches.
Sorry. Let me restart this. Drum roll, please.
Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch.
In the right corner, fighting at a 5'7", green, tall with the green trunks. Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And fighting in the left corner, weighing in at a lean 6'3", the heavyweight classics champion of the world, A Christmas Story.
I want A Christmas Story.
You gotta make arguments.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know how you Puerto Ricans do Christmas brackets, but
I fought so hard for Elf. I don't know.
Man, I don't know. A Christmas Story.
You know what?
I feel like they watch A Grinch in A Christmas Story. That's how much Christmas is in A Christmas Story.
Look,
it would if it wasn't like set in the 40s, I guess.
Actually, I know when it's set. They listen to the radio play.
TJ, do your best argument for the movie that's
my whole thing is like when it came down to the two movies where Christmas Story started. Christmas Story and Christmas Vacation were the very first matchup we had to deal with.
That should have been the finals. I mean, in my mind, that should have been
they're in the same fucking bracket, though.
Yep, they shouldn't have been. Category. They shouldn't have been.
Regardless,
where should they be?
Done.
I don't know. We're gonna figure that out next year.
So what I had to do is Christmas Vacation took over basically your Christmas literal vacation from school. You had the mom pulling the doors open, the different days, Christmas Story does that. You have the build up to Christmas. You have getting the Christmas tree, the making of the tradition of putting the tinsel, all lights on the night of Christmas Eve.
Make go out to buy the tree. Like they get all the notes in all Christmas Story.
That one present you want, knowing that maybe it's kind of out of reach, knowing maybe your parents can't afford it.
Just Santa, and he's kind of a jerk.
We didn't even talk about the Santa Claus in A Christmas Story. That's how easily the Christmas Story walked through this bracket. We didn't even have to bring him up. He's
Brian
the best fucking Santa in movies.
Oh, so good. But also Brian nailed it with that one scene. Like what Christmas Story does is it takes all that heart, adds in a little chimes of the Christmas music with the bells, and all you need is the father that barely had anything to do with his family the entire movie, but is still arguably a great Christmas dad with the moments he has. And has that incredible moment with the son, and that's all you really need because that's what all Christmas means. At that one moment,
a great portrayal of a hardworking dad. I think there's too many movies that portray a dad who has to work to support their family and can't be there all the time when they want to as a bad guy. Yeah. And this is a dad who worked hard and he did his thing and he had to work around the house and sometimes he came home grumpy and grouchy. When it came right down to it, the man knew his son and he knew what his son wanted and he knew how to make him happy. And that counts for something. Like I have to say it.
He's all American dad. He's Kolchak, the Night Stalker.
I think the scene where the mom defends him too and doesn't tell the dad about the fight. And that's a great moment between him and her. There's so much in this movie. There's a subtle fact that this is a Christmas movie, but it's got these like really tight family moments with him and his mom and him and his dad, and then him coming to terms with his own wishes and his own like a little bit of it, like growing up a little bit. And so there's so much in this.
I want to give a shout out.
Really hard.
There's a great moment with the mom when they wash the mouth out with soap, and then she sends them away, and then she goes to like taste it a bit.
She tries the soap.
So. As a kid, because we didn't grow up with getting soap in our mouth, I saw that and I put it in my mouth, being like, "What is that about?" And I puked everywhere.
We're talking about Christmas.
I did it in the summer too.
We're talking about Christmas bullies. Zach Ward, who follows me on Twitter, in case he sees this,
because it's your father,
King of the Gingers,
Scott Farkas, man, one of the greatest Christmas villains there is. Next to Grinch.
Absolutely. Hands down.
Oh,
so memorable. I still find myself, you're going to cry now? You're going to cry, you little cry, baby?
I love...
Why don't you cry for me?
PJ just relates to it because they're both gingers. And
I'm also a bully.
He's like,
I'm not just a ginger. I'm a bully, too.
I really love the mystery we're setting for our listeners of who we're going to vote for.
Hey, now we just haven't gotten to how the Grinch stole Christmas.
That is a great.
Oh, go ahead, person who fought for it.
Now,
unfortunately, I think I already made the argument, which is I said that if the Grinch was in the classics category, it wouldn't even have made it to the final four. So that was already my point.
It's a knockout. I'm calling it.
It really is.
Call it.
And the world champion of the Christmas movie Showdown of the World, A Christmas Story.
Call it, baby. Now, maybe next year Joe will fix it up so that the bracket.
I was going to say, next year, what you do is you pull Christmas Story. It's not even in the bracket.
That's what we do. That's what we do with my family.
Right? Okay.
All the classics. So a little behind the curtain why we couldn't use this year's bracket, which I made. Which I'll be releasing this bracket out for you all to fill.
It should be out. If you're seeing this episode, it should already be available.
Yes, it's available. We remove one each year who wins. So you have to keep funneling, ones from like modern into classics, basically. So it's real light. Like Home Alones are off of it. Grinch is off of it. Christmas Story still on there.
We still got Reindeer Games, and I also mentioned the Dave Chappelle, Norm Macdonald classic Screwed.
Oh, I have a nomination.
You mentioned that to us off air, so.
Well, now I'm mentioning it on air. See you next year, baby.
I really love the optimism you three have that we're gonna be here on Christmas next year.
Hey,
I was 14 episodes in.
We're gonna make it 3 episodes, so at this point, I'm up for anything.
All right, and this is
well,
you Joe. You got next episode, correct?
Do I?
You do.
Who's up next?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Joe?
I have next episode.
What's your movie? Hot Shot?
Oh shit!
Going into the new year. So this is also, guys, this is going to be our last episode rolling in 2019. So this is dropping Christmas Day. You're watching this now.
To our first calendar year of Flyover State of Film, right?
14 episodes, guys. 14
2018,
episodes.
the way we rocked it.
So in 2019, the first movie that I'd like us to view, and I completely fumbled this, so this is a shot out of the dark. Let's give Lucky Number 11 a view. I see it on my DVD shelf. It stands out.
In a minute.
And you know what? I think that movie's unique enough where it'd be fun to talk about.
What? Shootout and Smoking Aces weren't available?
Way to shoot for the middle, Joe.
Well, now to be fair, we had 2 good weeks. We can't really hope to keep it up,
That's true, yeah.
I have no value to Lucky Number 11, but it stands out to me, and that's one of those weird fucking movies we'd be watching anyway.
Do you get
it's got Josh Hartnett in it, so I mean, got that going for you.
Unless
Bruce Willis is there.
Was he still trying in that era? I guess we'll all find out.
He was still trying. I mean, the Kansas City Shuffle.
Well, you can't take it back now because you just said it. So
I did. No, we stick to what we say.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you 5 seconds if you want to come up with something better.
1, 2.
Shrek Forever After.
Nope. All right.
Lucky Number 11.
I said something better.
That's the good one. That's the one with Rumpelstiltskin.
Bring in the tiebreaker.
Get Laura to pick a movie. Do it.
Laura will pick Shrek Forever After.
No.
I like that idea. Get Laura and tell her to pick a movie for us.
Laura,
this is my
pick the
episode
movie.
still. I'm still in control.
You don't have to pick the ones I chose.
Laura, do not pick.
Shrek Forever After sounds kind of good.
No.
No, come on. You were supposed to do better.
Laura has been destroying me the entire episode.
She's looking at my shelf. So
your together shelf.
Our shelf.
Our shelf. That's right. Quit.
I don't even have a girlfriend. I know that.
I mean,
also, I can edit all this out because I have a whole week to do all this production.
Yeah, I forgot it was my week next week. So, or in the new year.
Yeah, we can cut this out.
You cut all this stuff out, guys. We're no rush.
I don't know. Who cares? Phone booth.
Jesus Christ, Joe! What is wrong with you?
You're a goddamn. Let's just watch Lucky Number 11 and be done with it.
You guys don't want to watch Colin Farrell in a phone booth?
I'd rather watch Fright Night. You got that?
I love that movie. I would absolutely watch Fright Night.
Lucky Number 11 it is.
All right, we're going with Lucky Number 11. To get all the views.
Wait, did she say?
Damn right. We're gonna hit that hot spot. Lucky Number 11.
God,
we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that big, the big Josh Hartnett bump. The big Ben Kingsley bump.
I don't know.
You killed me with phone booth.
Talk about Halloween low for like 3 episodes. How come we didn't get the Josh Hartnett bump then?
Oh my God, I'm crying over phone.
If we're gonna do Lucky Number 11. Brian, hit us with a clap and then give us a closeout. And then everyone do your fucking plugs.
I think we should leave this in.
I'll leave it in. It's Christmas. I don't give a
all
shit.
right. So thank you everyone for watching the Flyover State of Film Christmas special and our Christmas movie bracket. Why don't you guys let's do our closeouts here. Tell everybody where you can find you. Joe, where can they find you, man?
You actually could seriously find me this time on the DVD bunker. We were talking my forte, which is Nicolas Cage in Lord of War. I'm sure you've never gotten enough of me talking about Cage. So check it out on the bunker.
No such thing.
Also on Twitter, hopefully I'm not still trolling around, but it's been a rough couple of days.
Hey, some people really have it coming. They're asking for it. You know what I mean? I think part of the problem in this world is that there's not enough bullying. I think we need to get a little more bullying back in the world. These people are too damn soft. But be mean to each other out there. Oh wait, no, that's maybe not the greatest message.
Merry Christmas.
Yusef, plug your website and shit.
Oh, you can catch me at wildlovemovies.com. I've reviewed a shit ton of movies.
fucking 120 some movies this year.
Yeah,
Give it up for Yusef. 120 goddamn reviews like a champion.
I know
that's way too much movies.
Killed the game.
Actually, maybe at the time of this recording, I'll probably haven't watched maybe 5 or 6 more. So get that movie count up, Brian. But yeah, I actually want to say thank you to you 3. Like, I want to be sincere. This has been pretty fun so far. So hopefully by 2019, we're making $1 a month of this stuff, and we're just having fun. And I look forward to 2019, where we replace Joe by Laura.
Yeah, no,
she was good. She was quite good.
She was great.
Where can we find you?
She's better spoken than I am. She doesn't have the Jeff Goldblum stutters.
Yeah, you guys can find me. You're on Movie Squad now. If you're watching this, find us on Stitcher and all the other things you could listen to podcasts on. Guys, it's been a great year. If you listen to this Christmas, we're not going to be back until 2019. You 3, it's been a blast. I can't wait to keep going, see where we go, and talk about Mac and Me eventually. That is coming, so just know that now. But guys, you can find me at TJ Dex, hating on The Dark Knight Rises, and Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays, and that's me.
Yeah,
Happy New Year.
Again, I'll just echo what everybody said here. It's well known that I thought it couldn't be done. This has been a great experience, though. You guys are a lot of fun. We're having a great time on this show. You can find me on Twitter at Hercules. You can find my other bunker where me and Joe talk about Nick Cage movie Lord of War most recently. But I also did a top 10 comic book episode that was fun because I put so many caveats on it. I narrowed the field so much. Yusef was on my show once too. He was there. But anyway, DVD Bunker, but also Flyover State of Film. Search either of those on wherever you listen to podcasts and you'll find us. Have a happy holidays, everybody. Thank you and good night.
Feliz Navidad.
Of a white Christmas.
Just I used to know.